Hello, my K-drama loving Chingu. Welcome back to my monthly K-drama recap podcast, where I chat about the K-dramas I finished, the ones we're watching, and the upcoming ones I'm really looking forward to. If you're new here, I'm Jenny. I've been watching K-dramas for over 10 years with over 300 dramas under my belt, and I use this space to go deeper into my thoughts, reactions, and all the drama chaos we just can't fully unpack when I'm on Twitch. And speaking of Twitch, I stream most weekends, currently Saturdays at 9 a.m. Central Daylight Time, where we watch K-dramas live and chat in real time. Right now we're watching Typhoon Family. We just wrapped up episode 2 as I'm recording this podcast. Hopefully by the time I get this up, we're still watching it. But I'll also be talking about that K-drama in this podcast later in the episode. And a quick shout out to my Patreon stans. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and the Patreon to help grow such a fun and thoughtful K-drama community. Your comments, your support, it means the world to me and couldn't do this without you. So thank you so much, my K-drama stans. If you'd like to be a stan, it is $5 a month to be a Patreon stan, but I also have free access for the Chingu out there, or Chingu. I'm sorry. I've probably been saying Chingu wrong this entire time, but hopefully you all can forgive me. But you can follow the Patreon for free, get early access to the podcasts, any other YouTube videos or shorts I post. And I also have thoughts that I share on my Instagram, TikTok, other socials, so follow me on there as well so you can keep up between episodes. One last thing before we dive in, I do give a final star rating in these podcasts, and they are posted on mydramalist.com. Not sponsored, but that's just where I track all the dramas I've watched, and you can see what I've watched. So make sure to follow me on there as well, and we can be friends on the My Drama List, but not sponsored. I do use it to reference what the drama's about and the actors, so you may see that up on the screen. But let's get into September and what I finally got through kind of in September, more October, but we have 4 K-dramas completed in September, and then we've got 2 that are currently being watched. So we've got a little bit to unpack, but I would say it's been kind of a slow month, not as much of a rut as I was in before. All the K-dramas I've watched except for maybe one I've really enjoyed, so let's get into it. The first one I want to talk about, which this was a Patreon exclusive reaction that I watched, was Bon Appetit, Your Majesty. So this was 12 episodes. It was a Saturday-Sunday airing. I watched it on Netflix, and this one stars Lim Yoo-na and Lee Chae-min, along with Kang Ha-na, Choi Gi-hwa, and Seo Yi-suk, as well as Oh Eun-sik. I apologize every podcast, but I'm so sorry for butchering all the names. The synopsis of the drama is set in a dazzling blend of past and present. The story follows Chef Yoon Ji-young, a perfectionist French-trained chef at the peak of her culinary career, who is suddenly transported back in time to the royal palace. There, she's forced to cook for an infamously temperamental tyrant King Yi-hyun, a ruler with a killer palate and a deadly temper. Yeon Yi-young is a modern woman caught in a cutthroat world of palace politics, survival cooking, and unexpected romance. Her mission: survive the royal kitchen, win over the impossible king, and maybe just rewrite the future. King Yi-hyun is a ruler whose sharp mind and sharper tongue makes him both feared and misunderstood. With an unparalleled sense of taste and zero tolerance for mediocrity, his court lives in fear of his next meal. But when a fiery new chef enters his palace, the king's taste buds and perhaps his heart begin to change. Man, okay, so this is a historical comedy romance fantasy, and I am in the middle of rewatching this. Definitely worth a rewatch. I really loved this drama. Even though the ending, I will say, they kind of just left it like, yeah, we got back into the future, spoiler alert. She ends up making it back to the future, and it is a happy ending because somehow our king also makes it to present day, but we don't really find out why. We don't really care. Kind of some lazy writing at the end, but I was also wondering that, I'm like, how exactly are we going to finish this drama and make it a happy ending with everything that goes on? But if you were a foodie in any level, this show is definitely for you. Like the food shots, the food competition, the editing of when people would eat the food, so fantastic. The comedy, the acting, everything about this K-drama is just so fun and so cute. If you're a fan of historical dramas, this is your thing. If you're a fan of food, definitely your thing. And Lim Yu-na just did a fantastic job as the female lead and as the chef. And all of the supporting characters were fantastic. And Lee Chae-min, who I would call him an up-and-coming rising star, he definitely made his appearance in this one. He plays the Tyrant King, and I will say his tyrant behavior was definitely strong at the start of the episode, but then I didn't think he got very tyrant-y at the end. Like, it was definitely upsetting what went down with his backstory and everything else, but man, Guy is a great actor. I didn't watch him in Crushology 101 or Hierarchy, which he was a main role in those two. He was also a supporting role in See You in My 19th Life, which I vaguely remember, as well as Crash Course in Romance. But yeah, he definitely made his debut in this one. Their chemistry, mwah, mwah. Also, Kang Ha-na, she plays sort of the fourth consort to the Tyrant King, where that meant that they were in a relationship, okay? But not really. I was really disappointed that they didn't give her more of a backstory, more of a character development, but she was in it and I really liked it. Also the villain, I really got very confused as to, is he a bad guy? Oh, he is the bad guy. Okay. But the main story is really, really good. Again, the editing, the food shots, but every episode is basically some sort of, she has to survive a cooking competition to either save the Joseon dynasty or save her life and her limbs. And the main lead, Lee Chae-min, his depiction of the Tyrant King, so amazing. His laugh, his like crazy tyrant laugh, his like, everything is kind of a game to him. And he's just like, oh, let's cut off all the limbs. And she kind of is like, Your Majesty, let's let them keep their limbs. She does bring the warmth back to his heart. And yeah, it was generally a great K-drama. Also, the length was 12 episodes. I think it was a perfect length, though I could have done for more. I mean, this was one that they probably could have done 16 episodes and maybe had a little more forethought and time to give the answer as to how exactly our Tyrant King makes it to the present with his memories intact and they have their happy ending there. Because like everyone else that worked with her in the Joseon era kitchen were all descendants of the people. So like she gets her crew back in present day. They don't remember her. But then he just kind of shows up and is like, I'm here. I remember you. I told you I'd find you. We don't fully care about how he does it. They just were more focused on making sure that we had a happy ending because everybody wanted them to be together. I was a little worried that because this is technically based off of a real character or a real king in the Joseon era, that it was going to just be kind of a Scarlet Heart Rio vibes, which I don't think anybody wanted. Nobody wanted that in Scarlet Rio. That's probably one of the most devastating endings I've ever watched in a K-drama. And though it made the K-drama really good, it's like it put a stain in my heart, okay? So I'm glad that they didn't do that to us because I really was concerned. And thankfully it didn't. But they did just get very lazy with the ending, okay? They just really gave no explanation. They just gave our female lead a voiceover kind of going, we don't really care. He's here. That's all that matters. We're happy together. The end. Which I think was great. You know, the writers were kind of like using her to say, hey, yeah, we ran out of time. We kind of didn't think this through. But if you are one that you get a little spicy about loose plots, that may annoy you. Just FYI. But overall, I think that Bon Appetit, Your Majesty is probably one of my favorite ones of this year. We'll have to see by the time we have our final recap podcast or just recap video at the end of the year. But yeah, what would I rate Bon Appetit, Your Majesty? It's a tough one. I don't think it's a 10 out of 10, though frankly, with the editing, with the music, with the characters, oh my god, with the food shots, I almost would give it a 10 out of 10. But that ending, even though it is a happy ending, I gotta dock it like 0.5 points. So I'm giving this a 9.5. Probably one of my higher ratings this year. I also watched Confidence Queen, which that was technically a Amazon Prime original K-drama, one of the first. And it was a 12-episode K-drama. It aired Saturday, Sunday on Amazon. And it starred Park Min-young, who I'm a huge fan of, and pretty much the reason I started the K-drama. It also has Park Hee-soon and Joo Jung-hyuk, which he was also in another K-drama I was watching. Yeah, he was in Tempest as well. So while I was watching Confidence Queen, I was also watching Tempest, which that one we watched on Twitch together. I will have to say this one was a bit of a flop. I'm gonna start off with that. But the premise of Confidence Queen had a great one. It's 3 con artists with different backgrounds team up for a daring and adventurous scheme of revenge against the villains of this era. Yoon Irong, a con artist with an IQ of 165 and a genius level mind in the top 1%, leading the group as a confident and charismatic leader with a 4-dimensional way of thinking. So we're not just playing chess, guys, we're playing 4-dimensional chess, which is kind of true. James, a veteran con artist with humor and wit showcasing versatile skills set as a master scammer. That is not actually correct. We'll get into that. Myung-gu Ho, the youngest member of the Confidence team with a pure and upright character, bringing out the adorable charm of a playful and affectionate youngest member. I don't even know where to really start with this K-drama. I don't know if you're familiar with an American TV series and had a very similar premise where in that one, in Leverage, they would help those in need by conning these like rich bad people and getting their money back or just getting their comeuppance, okay, that they deserved. And I loved that premise. That was really great. And they tried to do that in Confidence Queen, but they kind of skipped the part a lot of the time, especially at the start, about the victims. Like I think in the first episode, they just went right into the con and they barely gave us any backstory as to why exactly we were conning the person. Also, James was not a con artist to start. He was actually a bodyguard that our main female lead, played by Park Min-young, knew as a small girl. Because her whole background is not only is she trying to con these bad guys, but we find out at the end of the K-drama very, very loosely and very quickly, but in a very disjointed way that, you know, she's been trying to get revenge on this main guy through all these other people that they've been conning because he like kidnapped her as a child and like held her for ransom. And Park Hee-soon's character, James, was her bodyguard and like was not going to give up finding her after she was taken at her birthday party, no less. It was a great idea for a K-drama, but they didn't stick the landing at all. The episodes, even though there were only 12, so disjointed. I could not keep up with what was going on. The cons and the situations were quite comical. Like the comedy was really good. I thought that the chemistry between the characters were good, but they really the villain came way too late. And then when episode 12 rolled around and ended, I was like, oh, was that the end? That was it? Okay. So yeah, there was just something fully missing. The genres that this was under is like action, adventure, comedy, crime. I was not connecting with this K-drama at all. I really wanted to because of the cast. Even the emotional pieces of it, I was not invested at all. I definitely read a book during a couple of these episodes. I feel really bad about it, but it just could not keep my attention. And though I loved all the outfits and the characters, Park Min-young playing kind of a super smart, sarcastic, quirky person. I loved it, but there was a disconnect. And they really didn't get you too emotionally connected to those that were wronged, that they were trying to, you know, con the rich, bad people for. And then when you get the whole backstory as to why Park Min-young's character was doing all this and like Joo Jung-hyuk's character was also involved in this past kidnapping, and like he also has a similar trauma. He was just in the dark about everything. He was just kind of like the clueless little himbo that was like going along with the cons, not knowing exactly what was going on. And frankly, she did not treat him well. It was kind of like a brother-sister vibe. There was really no romance, which there doesn't have to be in a K-drama for it to be good, but it was like they were maybe thinking about it, but then it just never happened. So yeah, I have to say that for, I think, the first Amazon Prime K-drama, this was a bit of a flop. And though I do really, really love Park Min-young, something that was brought up by one of the K-drama patrons, the stans, Park Min-young's age versus Park Hee-sun's age. You know, he's supposed to be her bodyguard as a young girl, and then she like comes back into his life as an adult to be like, hey, you want to help me take revenge? The age gap is not big enough. The patron was sort of thinking, even though we love Park Min-young, we might have needed a younger character or a younger actor for it to make sense. Unless Park Hee-sun is also just a vampire and just doesn't age. I have to say it was probably one of my least favorite K-dramas that I watched in September, sad to say. And it really took me, I did pause for a little while. I didn't actually finish this till October, but we're gonna say it was September. And yeah, I think I want to rate this. I know this is really terrible. I want to rate it a 5. I'm giving this one a 5. Sorry, Park Min-young, you were fantastic in it, but the overall story, the overall editing, and just the episodes, so disjointed. I could not keep up. It was just a little too flip-floppy for me. Let me know what you thought of Confidence Queen if you watched it in the comments below. Am I being too harsh? Let me know. I feel like I'm not. I don't think a lot of people liked it, to be fair. Next up is Law in the City, which this one we also watched on Twitch together. Law in the City, really, really loved. It was also 12 episodes. It was a Saturday, Sunday airing K-drama. This one we watched on Viki Rakuten. It starred Lee Jung-suk, Moon Ka-young, Kang Yoo-suk, Ryu Hee-young, who was also in law school, so girl graduated and is now a lawyer, and Im Sung-jae. He just made an appearance in Typhoon Family, which was absolutely amazing. And then Hee-ran. It's a law romance life drama, and the premise goes a senior associate lawyer in his 9th year, An Joo-hyung, seems cold-blooded, but no one can deny his competence in the field. He became a lawyer simply because he found logic in cases interesting, but from the start of his career, he never grasped the idea that lawyers are supposed to protect the weak, uphold justice, and make a difference in the world. Although he's a veteran among associates and has even set a new salary record, he refuses to open his own practice, finding it too troublesome. But now that the once peaceful walls of his workplace are beginning to crack, on the other hand, Kang Hyo-ji, a junior associate at Joha Law Firm, is a social butterfly who always ends up surrounded by people. She believes that if you change one person's life, you have changed that person's entire world. Whether she's lacking or overflowing, she is a confident and honest person. Alongside them are Bae Moon-jung, Cho Chang-won, and Ha Song-gi. These 5 lovable law firm attorneys struggle and grow through various cases, both inside and outside the courtroom, while building solid friendships by having meals together. So, Law in the City, kind of like Sex in the City, where all the besties meet up for their meals and complain about life and talk about things, only they're all in the same profession. And also, in the whole storyline, they actually all end up working for the same law firm. And they name it a certain thing, and then they all technically become one law firm, even though they all are still separate law firms, if that makes sense. And Moon Ka-young and Lee Jung-suk, I would say their romance is like the main relationship of the drama, but everybody has their ups and downs, and they all were amazing. The bosses were amazing as well, some terrible in their amazing work, but also just terrible. I think my favorite character was probably Ryu Hye-young. Her character development, everything about it, so fun. And yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of law dramas, to be frank, but this one was really cute. You know, they did have their lawyer moments. There were some cases that were very upsetting and just very true to life, which if you're looking for a happy law ending, you do get it, but not with a lot of these cases. Some of them are absolutely terrible and so sad. Like there's one where Lee Jung-suk's character basically has to take on a case that is his ex-girlfriend's divorce. The husband finds him and makes him be his lawyer and has to go to court and like face his ex-girlfriend who was very in love with and hadn't had a relationship since. And he met actually Moon Kang-young after this ex-girlfriend where he was kind of off trying to find himself again, and just absolutely terrible. And he did it. And he played a very cold-hearted seeming character. And Moon Ka-young's character, obviously, her love and their blooming romance kind of warms his heart, and he starts to realize that he doesn't like what he's doing and the cases he's taking on at work that his kind of crappy boss gives him, which there's some terrible bosses in this one. There's some good bosses and some terrible bosses, and his is probably not the worst of the bosses. He's just kind of like a typical male boss that you would imagine at like a law firm. He's like, he's not very understanding, but it all works out in the end, okay? I will say that. And all the food shots, again, if you're a foodie, you're also going to enjoy this K-drama because there's a lot of food, a lot of good food, a lot of amazing close-up food shots as they're eating and talking about life and discussing cases, and just generally a very sweet, I would say, kind of slice of life K-drama. Like the romance, it was good, but it was also just not like the main thing. Like they were together in the background with all the other characters, and there wasn't really any too much drama in regards to the romance, except for like at the start, which there's always a little something there. But once everything got settled, I really liked that they gave a lot of the characters, like all the characters had really good character development. No one was really left behind in it. I think the only character that grew on me the slowest was Kang Yoo-suk's character, because poor kid, or guy, he's not a kid, poor guy, because of his boss, and I guess his just like luck, he barely got any court cases. Like he finally did get a court case, and then it was just like so sad. I felt really bad for him, but at the end of the drama, all the characters except for I think two of them, no, maybe one, only one stays. All the other characters, though they stay in the same arena of being lawyers, they all kind of go off and do their own thing, but they always come back for a meal together. So that's what was really nice, is like even though they worked together for all these years and then they all had to go off and do their own thing and really follow their passions within the lawyer world, they still got together and they're still friends, and I really enjoyed that. So just generally a very good K-drama. If you like law dramas, definitely a good one for you. The characters, the romance, everything was there for this. I wouldn't say there's anything bad about it, but like, is it a 10 out of 10 type of drama? I don't think so. But I'd give it a 9. For sure. And that's all I'm going to say about that. It's a good watch. I definitely recommend. The next K-drama that I completed, this was also on Twitch. I just completed, technically in October, but we're calling it a September. I completed Tempest, which this was actually only 9 episodes, ending on an odd number. Very odd to me. This was a Disney Plus, and it was a action thriller mystery romance, which the romance in this is all I'm going to say. It stars Jun Ji-hyun, which I haven't seen her in a drama in quite some time. I think maybe she took some time off because, yeah, she hadn't been in anything since 2021 in Juri-san. She had been in Kingdom Season 2 as a guest role. But yeah, the last thing I really saw her in was 2016's The Legend of the Blue Sea. So good that she took some time off. I think maybe she got married and had a kid. I don't know. I could be making that up. But it stars Jun Ji-hyun and then Kang Dong-won, who, oh my gosh, he was fantastic in this, I have to say. And it looks like he hasn't done a ton. He was in Magic from 2004, and that was like drama-wise. And I guess the rest of the time he's mainly been doing movies. And I really don't watch K-movies. So I really was not all that familiar with him, to be perfectly honest. It also has John Cho in it, who plays Anderson Miller. So it has like a Disney Plus like American cast. It also has Lee Mi-shuk, who plays the sort of evil mother-in-law. And then Park Hae-jun, who plays her husband. That's not where the romance lies, guys. And Kim Hae-suk, who she plays like the president of Korea. But the premise of Tempest is Moon-ju, a seasoned diplomat and former ambassador to the United States, has earned the trust of the international community through her sharp judgment and decisive actions when she uncovers political maneuvering behind a high-profile assassination linked to both South and North Korea. She is drawn into a dangerous web of secrets. Meanwhile, Son-ho, an elite mercenary with an obscured past and unknown nationality, operates in the shadows. A man of few words, but lethal precision, which, yes, that is correct. He becomes an unexpected ally in Moon-ju's pursuit of the truth. Together, they navigate a treacherous world of power, deception, and buried conspiracies, where uncovering the truth can mean risking everything. And boy, howdy, this drama, like action thriller, yes, there is a lot of action, a lot of life-threatening moments towards our main female lead of Jun Ji-hoon. At the start of it, spoiler alert, she does lose her husband, and so we're kind of understanding that the romance that brews between Jun Ji-hoon and Kang Dong-won, like, it's totally fine. Her husband's dead now. But her character, she's a very cold, sensible, calm character. Even in moments where her life is literally on the line, like bomb, she is sitting on a bomb. She is calm and collected, considering everything. And she's very, very much a hero. Same with Kang Dong-won, which that's what like makes him fall in love with her immediately is, you know, he saw her, I guess, first when he was like, you know, off in Afghanistan or some other deserty type region, sees her on TV, falls in love with her then, and then obviously later on is hired to protect her. I think kill her. But he was like, yeah, I'll take your money, but I'm not going to kill her. I'm just going to protect her. But yeah, if you're a man, there are submarines involved in this one. So if you're a submarine fan, definitely a watch for you. But yeah, I think that like this would be if you have a boyfriend that you want to watch a K-drama with and try and get them into it, Tempest might actually be the one to give it a go. Kang Dong-won's character, he is very much a quiet, composed, like I'm going to show my feelings in action, not words. We get a love scene pretty early on. Also, I don't think I meant, oh yeah, I did mention, it's 9 episodes. The odd number, I wonder if that means we're going to get a second season. That's kind of the theory for some. I don't know if that's really true. I'd be down to watch another season. But yeah, there are some things that I was a little confused about. There's one sort of, I think it's a plot hole because I think I just didn't understand what was going on. But there is a moment where our characters are kind of hiding out. And there seems to be a wiretap involved, like they were bugged. He has this like necklace that the priest gave him, and then he gave it to her, to Jun Ji-hoon's character, and then she gives it back to him. And apparently there was a bug in it, like for wiretapping, for like recording audio, and it's used against them and broadcasting, and it's super awkward, guys, because it's of their lovemaking. It's like of a conversation they have in a cabin, and like of them getting it on during some pretty tense political moments that they're just like, this one character kind of tells them, hey, war's gonna happen if like these 3 things happen in succession. 2 of them or 3 of them or 4 of them. I don't know if it was 4 or 5 things. He made like a little list and wrote it down. I was like, this is gonna happen. Like, watch out for these signs. And they all start happening. And, you know, Kang Dong-won, so devoted to her. He's like, I don't care what happens. Like, you need to live. I want you to live. Like, everything is about you. I'll protect you to the ends of the earth. Like, it's some romantic fucking shit. And he protects the hell out of her. And I would be falling in love with him too, straight up. You know, like the action of all that, hot. A really, really good K-drama. And I feel like Disney Plus, they've come out with like some pretty well executed K-dramas, but they've still just not been up to par. It's like they rush stuff. And I would say that some felt like the ending to Tempest was rushed, but it was 9 episodes. You know, I think they covered it in a timely enough manner and covered enough up that like it made sense. But yeah, there's still a lot of like questions that are left, especially regarding the husband. And like you find stuff out about our main female lead's father like right at the end, and the twist as to who the true villain is I kind of saw coming, but I was like, they could have revealed that a lot sooner. But I definitely enjoyed it. Lee Mi-suk's character, who plays like the mother-in-law, who it was Park Hae-jun's mother, she's fantastic. She plays evil and elegant so well. It's quite good. But yeah, what would I rate Tempest? I may actually dock it a few points for heart palpitations that it gave me. So I think I'm going to call it an 8.5, just because yes, the action, the romance was definitely there, but it just kind of left a few questions and things that I'm like, who did what exactly? Like what and why? The what and whys weren't fully answered. But if there is going to be a season 2, maybe they're saving it for that. But overall, I think it's a great K-drama. Definitely recommend. Give it a watch because it's also short. It's not too long of a drama. So give it a go. And that was all the completed K-dramas. I'm also, for the Patreon, watching Genie Make a Wish. I am up to, I need to update this. I'm up to episode 8. This one's also an odd numbered episode. It's 13 episodes long. It's a comedy romance fantasy, and I read this description in the last K-drama podcast. I've really been looking forward to this one, and I have to say, it's not disappointing. It's not disappointing at all. I really actually love Bae Susie's character because she plays a psychopath, which that is like the kind of the best part of this. She plays a psychopath. Kim Woo-bin plays a genie, also Satan. There's certain lore about Satan, and they're sort of mixing it into the genie genre. But it's got a really attractive and good cast, I have to say. Obviously, it has Kim Woo-bin. It has Bae Susie. It's also got Ah Eun-jin, who she was in Hospital Playlist. And when they had her up here, I was like, who exactly is she playing? Like, I haven't seen her. You don't see her for the first 4 episodes. She doesn't really make an appearance until the 5th. Worth it. It's so cute. Her introduction is really great. It's also got Steve No, who he plays Angel of Death. And then it's got Ko Kyo-pil and Lee Ju-young, who they sort of play. He's like a leopard demon creature. And then Lee Ju-young works for Steve No, and they're both kind of like the eyes and ears of their angel/genie counterpart. Kim Woo-bin, low-key hilarious. He is playing, like, he must be having so much fun with this role, and I feel like you can tell. It is a comedy romance fantasy, and Bae Susie playing a psychopath, she's doing a really great job. And also, she's just flawlessly beautiful. A lot of the times, she's not wearing the nicest of outfits. They've got her in sweats. She still looks fantastic. There's a lot of visits to Dubai, sponsored by Dubai, I guess. There's some characters speaking Arabic that are blatantly not from that region, but we're gonna just kind of let it go. We're gonna move on from it. It's a little questionable, some of those parts. Also, it has Kim Mi-young, who plays the grandmother. And my fear at the start of this K-drama was, she plays a psychopath. This grandmother has raised her since birth. And not birth, but has raised her since, she started showing signs of her psychopathic tendencies. And her parents basically abandoned her, which that's absolutely terrible. They abandoned her because they were scared of her, left her with grandma, moved to Dubai. Like, we're leaving the country. You deal with her. And, grandma, she is not a therapist. I don't know where she got these ideas or what books she read, but she was determined to teach this girl, maybe not empathy, but you cannot kill people, you cannot hurt animals. She got her early on into a routine that even though she's a psychopath, she knows what she is. And even though she cannot really feel these emotions that other people are having and have, she, the whole village basically comes and helps raise her and raises her not to become a murderer, or they hope. So she's quite scary. Like, if I had met Bae Susie as a psychopath, I would feel chills. She does a really great job. She's also low-key very funny in her character development. Also, it's feeling like she might not be a psychopath. Maybe her third wish will be, I don't want to be a psychopath anymore. I want to feel emotions. That would be a great final wish, in my opinion. But her 2 wishes have been so good. And one of them being kind of a bet with our genie that, they pick 5 people that she runs into on the road. And she's like, give them 3 wishes. Because Kim Woo-bin's character, the Genie character, Satan's character, his whole thing is like he's wanting to corrupt the humans. That's his goal in life. And Bae Susie's a reincarnated character that traps him into his lamp like 900 and something years ago. Hi, Rufus. Rufus is visiting us. If you're seeing the video, he just laid down. He's been waiting for her to be reincarnated, and then she's reincarnated into a psychopath, maybe from the past trauma of her past lives. So that's kind of like a fun twist to it. But they've made a bet that the humans are corruptible, and she's like, well, that's not what my grandmother says. So they pick like 5 people. They're all getting to make 3 wishes. One of them being also a psychopath killer or just like a crazy killer. I just watched episode 8 and there's like a whole scene with those 2 and it's eerie and creepy. And I also can't wait to see what happens next. Like, I wish I could watch more episodes now, but things are crazy. The romance is there, but I really was like, how are we going to have a psychopath have a romance with a genie? So it's kind of happening, but I don't know how we're going to end. Like, my only other thing is maybe she wishes for Kim Woo-bin to be human. Because, we're thinking back to like the Aladdin movie, okay? In the Aladdin movies, I believe that the genie in the lamp just wanted to be human or wanted to be free. And so maybe she like wishes for him to be free of the lamp or something. I don't know. I'm not too sure how it's going to end. I'm very curious to find out. I hope that they don't lose it, like lose the ending or have like a lazy writing moment like Bon Appetit, Your Majesty. But I'm here for the ride. I am thoroughly enjoying it. They're really making the comedy a good piece of it. Even though at the start I was really confused, like, is this going to be comedic or what? Because the way that they introduced Kim Woo-bin's character for like the first episode, he seems so put together, so like evil, satanic. And then though he meets Bae Suzy and like immediately is like slapstick comedy. So like the first episode might feel a little jarring for some. It is a little like they don't really mix the quirkiness in well at the start, but it works its way into it. Also, I think there's kind of a small LGBTQ plus romance brewing between Jin's character and Bae Suzy's best friend, who I guess she's just a supporting role in this one. I'm trying to look her up right now. Is she not even in the supporting cast role? Where is she? For some reason, I'm not finding her, but she also has a very short haircut, so I might not be recognizing her in the photos as I'm like looking right now. Oh, also Kim Yi-gyum, he is a child actor in this, but he's playing like an immortal, and I don't know where they got this kid, but I am legit scared of him, and he's doing a really fantastic job. Like, he's a great young actor, and he's got to be like super smart. Like, there's something about him that I will be following him when he is an adult, because as a child actor, he's doing a fantastic job in this drama. Hopefully they're treating him good on set is all I'm gonna say. Because like boys, like, I don't know if they got like a voiceover or like did like a voice dub in post, but he speaks Arabic in this. I think it's Arabic. I don't know. He speaks another language. There's a lot of other languages spoken in here that I'm like, I hope this is all correct. But yeah, a Genie Make-A-Wish, definitely a surprise, but I was definitely looking forward to it because I'm also just a big fan of Kim Woo-bin and Bae Suzy, and I think that they're both doing a really fantastic job. I cannot rate this one just yet because I'm still currently watching it, and it's really interesting because people are giving it a 7.8. I'm curious as to why. Yeah, like this person says, a messy start, a heartfelt middle, and a slightly flat ending overall. So all the episodes are up right now. It was one that like they just put all the episodes up, which that might have been a detriment to them. I don't know. But apparently the ending people aren't happy with. We'll see. I have not finished it. But if you've seen it, let me know what you thought. And then I literally just started Typhoon Family, the first 2 episodes. So this one we're watching on Twitch currently and already love it. Okay. It's set in the 90s. It's a business life family drama. I don't think I've watched a business drama in a while. And it's 16 episodes and it is on Netflix. And the premise of this one is set in 1997 while the South Korean economy was going through an economic crisis. Kang Tae-pung's father runs a small company named Typhoon Trading Company. Due to his wealthy father, Kang Tae-pung lives a carefree life, but the worst economic crisis hits South Korea. This changes everything. While the economic crisis hits Typhoon Trading Company, Kang Tae Pung's father passes away, which is so upsetting, okay? I hate when a sweet father passes. Like, I'm still not over it because it's still fresh. Like, I just watched it yesterday. Kong Tae-pung is determined not to let the company, which his father loved, like his own family, go bankrupt. Kong Tae-pung steps in to become the CEO and to save the company. Although he was immature in his past, he is armed with a warm heart, a strong sense of responsibility, and a spirit for challenges. He struggles to save the company with his family and his employees, including Oh Mi-sun. Oh Mi-sun is the eldest daughter in her family and carries the burden of her family on her shoulders. And hell yeah, she does. She works as a bookkeeper at Typhoon Trading Company. She does things like washing cups, cleaning, attaching receipts, and organizing ledgers. While Kong Tae-pung tries to save the company, Oh Mi-sun gains hope from his appearance. With her diligence and sincerity, she dreams of becoming a career woman at Typhoon Trading Company. So this is 16 episodes long. I feel like they're going to do great work with 16 episodes. It's a Saturday-Sunday airing, and I guess technically this is an October drama. Yeah, it has Lee Jun-ho, which I think most people know him from King the Land, which he did a fantastic job in. He was also in My Dearest and Celebrity as guest roles. The 90s vibes in fashion, as a 90s girl myself, I'm here for. Also, the history behind the Korean economic crisis, how all that went down, really interesting. So like if you're kind of a finance bro or a finance babe, you might enjoy this one. I, don't really know a lot about the financial crisis that happened in Korea at that time, but it is very interesting. And I like that that's sort of the background. This also has Kim Min-na, who we watched her in Way Back Love. I think she's fantastic. She also was in Light Shop. And a lot of people, I guess, know her from Pachinko, which I sadly have yet to watch Pachinko. Mostly because the era that Pachinko is played in, there's never a happy ending in those dramas. So I'm like, I don't think I can handle that. And it also has Song Dong-yi, who is playing the father. I will say, like, he is a great boss, okay? Like, I see why Kim Min-na, who plays the bookkeeper, is devoted to him in the company. He's a fantastic boss. And, like, the characters at the office, I can already tell, like, the dynamics are going to be so great. I'm so excited. We also have Kim Ji-young, who plays Lee Jun-ho's mother and, Song Dong-yi's wife. She is super sweet and adorable in this. And then we have Kim Min-suk, who is Lee Jun-ho's, like, bestie. And who else? Yeah, we have Moo Jin-sung, who, he plays the bad guy in this. They kind of start off real strong with him. I don't know if he's going to have any more character development in it, but it is just very interesting. The business world in the 90s in Korea during this crisis. And again, love Lee Jun-ho's fashion in this. I think his character is really fun. He's been secretly starting a business where he's growing flowers. Like, he's a flower boy, okay? His thing is he is growing roses that are indigenous to Korea, which I guess they didn't have at the time. But obviously the financial crisis, I think, is kind of putting that business on hold. But yeah, already emotionally devastating of first 2 episodes I've watched. And yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I'm like looking at the screen caps from episode 2 and episode 1 and just really fun. I could tell it's going to be a fun drama. I hope it keeps the good times rolling. Also, the romance that is going to brew between Lee Jun-ho and Kim Min-na, I'm here for it already. I think that the chemistry there is already really good. The partnership that's brewing is really good, and he's just overall funny. Yes, there is tragedy at the very start of this, but I can't wait to see the hijinks that ensue, because already in episode 2 stuff is going down with the Typhoon company. And also, he doesn't really become a CEO. He just kind of joins the company. He is a family member. His dad did run it. So he's kind of there to step in and help while things get closed out of the company. In his mind, they're going to close it. The economy's kind of busted. They are still able to make ends meet. So they have some things in motion that, like, they're going to get paid for. So I think the goal, or the current goal, is, let's get this finished up and then we will close down the company. So but that's the plan. Overall, I've only seen 2 episodes of it, but I am thoroughly enjoying it. As for dramas that are coming out, I don't know about coming out, but like I've heard really good things about Would You Marry Me, which I think I'm going to be starting that one like soon because I do need some dramas to watch. I've got a new list I need to start, so I might be starting Would You Marry Me. I've heard really good things about it. All these other ones like Miss Incognito, Walking on Thin Ice, 100 Memories, I haven't heard much about them. But it looks like some upcoming shows: Dear X, The Manipulated, Moon River. Moon River is calling me just by the fact that it looks to be a historical drama. It looks interesting. It's a historical romance fantasy, which is like right up my alley. It's got Kang Tae-oh in it. And wait, weren't they in Brewing Love together? Am I making that up? They already had a romance together, so it's like a reunion. Yeah. Wow. I guess people liked them together so much that they're like, we need to put them in another. Oh, it was the Potato Lab. Okay, no. So it was not Brewing Love. I'm sorry, guys. She was in Brewing Lab. He was in the Potato Lab. Though I feel like those vibes are pretty much the same. But okay, so they have not been in a drama together. That was me lying. I was full on lying there. But yeah, that looks pretty intriguing. So yeah, might be giving Moon River a try. But that's not till October 31st. So got some time to percolate on that. But it looks cute. But yeah, let me know what you're looking forward to, what you've completed in September/October. And thank you so much for staying to the end to hear my goodbyes. And I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Thank you again, K-Drama Stans, for your support on the Patreon. And I will see you in the next video or podcast or Twitch. Bye.